Looks like it's... Hello. Testing. Alrighty. Looks like I'm live. Looks like I'm live. Kinda. Looks like I'm live, kinda. That's what I'll say. We'll see who joins in. This is gonna be a live for everybody. I was just gonna come on here and do a blind spots and shots for Patreon. Then I was like, you know what? I just got back on. What about the members? They deserve a live too. And I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going for everybody. It's the first live since I've been back, since they done banned me on YouTube. I'm doing it for everybody. If you're on Patreon, you saw this, you click the link, that's what's up. You click the link, you can, well, I guess here, I'll type something and let you know where to type. Hello, Auntie Karen Soldiers. Marcy Collins, what's good? Sally McKee, what's good? Oh man, you know what's good. You know what's good. Listen, the number one Karen in the world just got indicted. I was already planning on coming on. And listen, I have a lot of Republicans watching this channel, a lot of right wingers. I got some far left wingers. I'm just saying when you're an anti-Karen soldier, you just got to keep it real. The whining and the complaining has been going hard for a long time. So he's still the number one Karen. No matter who you voted for, you got to just admit that. We can laugh together. We can laugh together. Ask Darla Mar. Okay? It's not about the politics here, man. It's just not. It's just not. What it's about is the number one anti-Karen soldier. No, the number one Karen has been indicted, and that isn't even why I came on. I wanted to do a blind spots and shots, people. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. They let me back on, unfortunately, and to their demise. Right? Unfortunately, and to their demise, I'm back. Now, what is blind spots and shots? Blind spots and shots is when I take a sip, right? I'm gonna take a sip. It's just some good nectar in here. Oh, by the way, check that out. You see that cup? You can get that on the I guess it's down there somewhere. You can click on it and buy this cup, the Team Box Cutter cup. And on the other side, it says, don't take it. Don't take it. If you work at a place where people are taking your cups, taking your stuff straight out the fridge, and you got Karens where you work, you need this cup. It is a healthy reminder. Don't take it. Okay? It's just simple. I like to keep it simple. Team Box Cutter says don't take it. And anybody who takes this, it's going to be obvious. Ain't no other cup like it. Plus, you're supporting the channel. Who knows? I might get kicked off again after today. So I'm going to need your help, people. Sally McKee is here. Karima Smith is here. Hey, what's going on? Marcy Collins is here. Hey, what's happening? I'm so glad to see you guys here. And you tell me. I was going to do the blind spots and shots. What that is when I try to make sure to be the example, people. I am the anti-Karen lieutenant. No, I'm sorry, the general. I'm the general. The number one way to not be a Karen is to admit when you're wrong, is to find out when you're wrong, is to actively seek when you're wrong. It should make you feel good. You should feel compelled to want to find out where you've been wrong so you can change it. But that's a mindset that takes a long time to get to. It's not something that anybody can do. I spend a lot of time on that. And so I try to be the example. When I find out that I'm wrong, you guys say something in the comment section, and I see Hey, just cook some German sausage. Marcy Collins, that's what? Eat up. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. When I see something that I did wrong, I come on here and I admit it. I admit it to everybody. I show it and I admit it. I say, man, that made me think. And what happens is, what I've found on this channel, where I have the absolute best subscribers, period, best audience, period. Just look at the comment section. The only one where the trolls are minimized. I mean, severely minimized. There's none. There's only even though we make fun. The whole thing is about comedy. It used to be about hip hop. We turned to Karens and comedy. But the whole thing is about having fun and comedy. We still have the most intelligent comment section from all over the map. I'm talking about left wing, right wing, in the middle, foreign, domestic. Simply the best. And I like to believe that's because I set the example. Being able to admit when you're wrong, listening to correction, and being able to correct other people in a way that sounds intelligent or in a way that makes sense and is not just ad hominem abuse. So we have blind spots and shots. I point out my blind spots. I just got back on YouTube, so I don't have that much to point out. But while I was gone, there's another side of blind spots and shots. Excuse me. I reserve the right to point out your blind spots in my comment section. And it's fun. It's fun for me. I bet you it's fun for Marcy Collins. I bet you it's fun for Sally McKee. I bet you it's fun for Karima Smith. If you are a Patreon member and you're just seeing this, I appreciate it. I'm going to have it up everywhere. It's not just for members. It's not just for Patreon. This one's going up everywhere because it's my first time back. And I want to say thank you guys for being awesome. But I'm going to pull up some comments now. Now, wait a minute. I'll let you decide. I want to do the blind spots and shots. But you heard the news. The number one Karen. The number one whiner. The number one entitled. And I mean, listen, if you think that a Karen that goes into the Walmart and believes that she is more important than everybody else is entitled, If you think that the person who goes into McDonald's and yells at the workers making $5 an hour because their American-sized gigantic cup of sugar water wasn't exactly the way they wanted it, there's only one who's so entitled that they believe that the entire country and justice system itself should bend to their every whim. There's only one. There's only one. Now, we can disagree. We can disagree on the politics. As a matter of fact, I disagree with many on the left about the politics. I'm not as woke as you may think I am. The one thing I do is call out the BS. The amount of whining and capital letter posting that has been going on for the past 3 years is reminiscent of a Karen. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, let me know. Show me how. Prove it. The amount of backtracking. This is a classic Karen trait. Karen says, hey, why are you here? And the person who they're talking to, usually a person of color because they don't think that they belong there, says, listen, you're not supposed to ask me why I'm here. Immediately you get one of two things. I lived here 30 years. And it's super defensive, and it means that they own everything around them. Or there's the backtracking Karen that will say, well, I mean, I'm just trying to be neighborly. Shut up. You're lying. You don't ask any other neighbors why they're there, but you backtrack. The amount of backtracking that we've seen from this number one Karen, you telling me that you haven't seen that on them all caps posts? You haven't seen it? Not talking about politics. We can get to that another time. but you know he's become a Karen. He's devolved into Karenism. You know it. And if you're an anti-Karen soldier, if you're an anti-Karen lieutenant, and if you're an anti-Karen general, today, down goes Karen, number one. Down goes Karen, number one. I'm not going to even say the name. It's not important. It's not important. So I'll let you put it in the comment section, guys. We can talk about that first, or I can go straight into my blind spots and shots, because I have a whole, matter of fact, I'm never going to be able to get to them all. I think I took screenshots of like 40 different comments that need to be addressed, that need to be redressed as well as addressed, need to be pointed out, and need to be held in the light so other people can see the foolishness that's going on. Other people can understand how not to be a Karen. That's why I do it. That's why I do it. Is to ensure that I'm teaching you guys how to be good anti-Karens, how to make great comments in the comment section. There are those who have failed in the comment section, and I'm going to call it out. We're going to laugh at it, but we're going to try to understand how to overcome it. We're going to try to understand why they failed and why people like Linda Sims and Karima Smith and Sally McKee and Marcy Collins, we're going to try to find out why they are anti-Karens, how they make comments that make sense, why people like Gloria Klepper are anti-Karens. What do they do? What do they not do in the comment section that leads me to believe that they are anti-Karens? Number one, they always listen. Number two, they don't just defend themselves when they heard some or saw somebody that typed something that made sense. They listen. They say that might be true. Or they say I was wrong when they were. Or they say that sounds ridiculous and this is why. Intelligence, discourse. They do not just devolve immediately to N-words and cuckism. They don't devolve immediately into tropes. They don't take anything that they heard at face value. You look it up before you comment. This is for everyone. When you leave a comment, the world can see it. Why not look it up? What? Google is at your fingertips, people. The world is at your fingertips. It baffles me when I see people just type stuff and say, did you know that such and such? And I'm like, not only are you lying, I believe you're lying to yourself. Because you heard someone say it on whatever bullcrap news network that you've been watching or listening to feel good about yourself, and you repeated it without even typing it in. Google. .gov is at your fingertips. Google is at your fingertips. .edu is at your fingertips. Type it in. Just type it in. It sounds weird to you. Instead of, I didn't know that. Instead of stopping there, don't stop there. You know what? He said something, I didn't know that. Don't stop there. Type it in. Make sure there was a reason why you didn't know that. Did he make it up when you heard it? Let's get to it, people. I have no idea what I'm going to click on. I'm clicking on random comments. I saved a bunch of them that I think need to be addressed. So whatever comes up first. All right, yeah, let's see what you guys. Rudy Polite. I guarantee you Rudy Polite's not a Karen. Well, I know. Listen, I don't know. I don't know for sure. That's a new name to me. So I'm gonna say this. I appreciate you for even clicking on it, Rudy Polite. Thank you. Is it? I'm gonna say Polite. If it's pronounced wrong, you let me know. I have been known to butcher names from now and then. But yeah, we're gonna try to find out what makes these people horrible commenters, what makes them Karens, and how to point it out. Blind spots and shots. What are their blind spots? What are they missing? you know what? We're going to pick him out. Hey, wait a minute, everybody. Marcy Collins says she's got 65-mile-an-hour winds right now. Number one, there's nothing more important than my viewers and my subscribers. Marcy Collins, I hope you're okay. Please let us know what's going on over there. And please leave immediately for any reason. If you have a basement, if I'm not sure where are you, Marcy? Let us know what's going on. It matters to us. Everybody, let's get in that mindset. There's time for fun. There's time for funny. There's time for ha-ha. But we also want to make sure that we're human beings. Please let us know what's going on, Marcy Collins. 65-mile-an-hour winds sounds pretty weird, especially with the weather that we've been having lately. I hope you're okay. Please let us know where you are. Stay on with me, but the minute that you feel like you can't, go. All right, so I'm pulling up these Roswell, New Mexico. I haven't heard anything about that. Is it just rain? Is it just inclement weather? Is it something going on that we need to know? Here we go. All right, guys, I'm going to start pulling up these blind spots and shots. Like I said, I make sure that I'm just going to pull them up randomly. We'll call this a reaction video. Because thank you, Cece. Thank you, Cece Dreadful. Thank you, Karima Smith. Thank you, Linda Sims. Send out your love. Send out your prayers. Not that anything bad is even happening. We're just saying, before we know it, we always have to stop and make sure that we stay human, even amongst the muck that's going on, even amongst the celebration of the number one Karen on earth, number one Karen in the world right now being indicted. Let's also remember, there's real life also happening. Oh, come on, where are these? And of course, so now see, I wasn't prepared. Usually I already have these up and ready, but I got you, I promise. Just stay with me, guys. We're going to get, there we go, blind spots and shots. There is the folder. Ha! Ha! First one's coming up. I don't know what it is. We'll see. Okay. This one wasn't. This is the Karen story. Ooh. We're going to do Karen stories next on another live. I don't want to do that yet. Okay, here we go. Blind spots and shots. Here we go. People. This was a common problem. Many of you may have seen the short that I put up. I put up a short, and in this short, there's a black lady, or at least a lady of color, driving a Maserati into a neighborhood. From where the video starts, we see a white lady walking up to the window and says, "Where are you going?" Now this is pulling into a residence. Where are you going? Okay? What are you doing here? I believe was her other comment. Matter of fact, I think I might have kept that too. For some reason, and that one, it blew up. It just blew up. I didn't expect it to, but somehow it's got like 1 million views. I was like, wow. But there were so many people that said, they're both Karens, because immediately upon that girl saying, or that lady saying, "What are you doing here?" or "Where are you going?" The person in the Maserati did not waste time. She said, what are you doing? Where are you going?" She didn't answer that. She didn't even give it the light of day. Okay? And then the lady seemed shocked. Oh, oh my! She clutched her pearls, and she was in a fur coat. It was just so bad. And the lady said, "Do you live here?" And the lady in the Maserati, the black guy, said, "Hey, Mystic Gaming. Hey, it's just Kenny. What's up? Hey, Mary's Hammock. Listen, thank you for joining. Listen." She said, "Do you live here?" All of a sudden, I mean, I don't understand. These sound like reasonable questions. Somebody comes to your window while you're driving through a gate in a residential area. They come to your window and say, "Where are you going? And do you live here?" And I got so many people that said both are Karens. No one is better than the other. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Now, for the new people who just came in, I know you saw the title. And yes, we can talk about the number one Karen in the world getting indicted. You just type it in there. That's what you want to talk about. I got you. Until then, I'm also doing these blind spots and shots. I'm showing people their blind spots. And this guy named All or Nothing, that is a pretty gigantic and disgusting blind spot. Why do you think, YouTube, that someone would think both of them are Karens? There's one in a car trying to drive through a gate, and there's one outside of the car at someone else's window asking them, do they live there? Number one is in the car minding their business and the other's being a Karen. They're not both Karens because both of them were loud and both of them were heated. One had the right to be heated. You have a right to your own autonomy, your bodily autonomy and the property, the autonomy of your property. Both are in question, the car and the person. The police do not have a right to come up to your car and ask you where you live. It's an invasion of privacy. And only someone so entitled that they believe that they have either ownership of your travel, your person, your property, or everything else around them would do that. You're not scared. The number one lie I always see from a Karen is I was scared. If you were scared, you wouldn't have walked up to the person to ask them something. Is that correct? That's not scared. What you were was entitled. What you were was spoiled. What you believed that you had the right of ownership of the person, the property, or everything else around you. One of the three, if not all three. If you're scared, call the police. And if you're scared because someone is driving through a gate and you don't happen to know them, then you're still a Karen. But at least you wouldn't have been videotaped doing it. But that is the appropriate response. If you see something crazy, you can call the police. If you see someone abusing someone else, you have the right in defense of others. That's the law. That's actually the law. In the defense of others, now you can go up and talk and figure out what's going on. You don't have the right to look at someone and say they look suspicious. You're not a police officer, you're not a detective, you're not a lawyer. Why do you guys think that All or Nothing here said both are Karens? The number one blind spot for people who think that, they're not Karen or they're not ist, whatever ist it is, whatever ism, they think that they're not that. The number one blind spot they have is they can't see themselves in the other person. They can't see all or nothing. He might not be a bad guy or a girl, but he can't see or she can't see him or herself in the other person. All or nothing saw him or herself in the white lady that walked up to the car. Maybe she would be scared. Maybe I would be scared. But could not see themselves as the person that was in the car being approached by someone you don't know asking you for your address. That's a blind spot. And it's normal. It's human nature. If you can't see yourself in someone else, doesn't mean you're bad. But it's a blind spot that you need to work on. It's a question you need to ask before you make another comment. All or nothing. There it is. Blind spots and shots. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me if that's happened to you. It's happened to me. I've done it before. I've made that mistake. Plenty of times. That's what I'm trying to tell you is it's not about just shaming people. We try to have fun, but it's not really anything funny here to say. This is just a blind spot. On to the next one. I want your stories. Let me know. Man, I got some serious Karen stories.
Dad?
Yes.
I want to play my sport game.
You want me to play your sport game, son?
Yeah.
All right, I'm in the middle of a live video. When I'm done, I'll come up and play the sport game with you, all right? All right. What you gonna do, man? The kids, they need you. They need to know that you're there for them. Yeah, here's another one. Will Prescott. What information in the video justifies a comment supporting either woman? Most of the comments are negative toward the white woman. Can you say racist? All or nothing, whatever that other last guy was, no problem. Will Prescott, I'm going in. I'm going in. Just because you see people calling out someone who's white for doing something wrong doesn't mean it's racism. The only reason why you say that is because for some disjointed, disconnected, mentally disconnected need you have to be a victim, you see racism. You don't understand. You have the same blind spot now, the exact same blind spot. You can't see yourself in the other person. It doesn't immediately mean racism. But the minute that you're so quick to call everyone else who's calling out the problem racist, that's racist. It's a defense mechanism. It's a disconnection. You have a mental disconnection. You cannot say or ask or think about anything other than that word because you're afraid of being called that word all the time. You see black people, you feel fear, and you know it's racist, but you hate being called that because you don't think you're a bad person. That's your problem, Will Prescott, so you find it everywhere else. That's your problem, Will. It's internal. You wake up, you look in the mirror, and you say, I have a problem, but instead of correcting it, I'm going to project it on everyone else. You see, a simple question will suffice. When you say, can you say racist? Everyone's being negative toward the white woman. It's a Karen channel. Where do you think the word Karen comes from? It's a trope. It's a trope. Yes, we understand that. Okay? We understand that not everybody named Karen is bad, and not everybody named Karen is white. The idea is colloquially known. The reason why it's called Karen is because Karen is the type to call the police on black folks for no reason. That's where it came from. Karen is the type to be so entitled because society around her has made her that way, believe that she's more important than the person behind the counter at McDonald's. Why? Why is there more white Karens? Well, simply because it's been socially reinforced. I just put up a video where there's Karens of all colors. I always do. But if you actually believe that there's going to be more other color Karens, it wouldn't be called Karen. It's a phenomenon. It's socially reinforced. Only the person who actually believes that they have the right or the entitlement to go up and talk to anybody and never see a consequence for it is going to be willing to do that. And quite frankly, if I call the police, who do I think is going to get the consequence more? Me? Or, as Will Prescott put it, toward the white woman? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. And it's okay to call that out. It's okay to see that blind spot. But you, by saying that word, have now gone past the blind spot into straight up racism. Somebody said deflection here. I'll take that. Projection is what I would call it. You know why. But I actually answered. Do you live here is what the woman asked. Why are you here? That's the second thing she asked. And I think the biggest thing is, it seems to me that those who don't understand that it's not okay to walk up to people's cars and ask them where they live, they themselves have an issue that they need to work out. Because that's not okay. And you know that. You just need an excuse. What else we got? Any more comment? Let me get another comment. Oh, blind spots and shots. Listen. Wow. I got a good one. Oh my God. Thank you. KBM. With the $10. Everybody give a handshake. KBM, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Okay. I thought I have a lot more bad ones, but I think I had a wrong folder. But one I have here needs to be seen. I'll just read it. I'm trying to figure out how to go about this. How can I make myself the victim and twist the situation such as people will take my side? Karen, honey, you can't accuse a man of hurting you to get out of a consequence of your actions when there's another woman present that saw exactly what you did. I'm not sure what this is about, but I know there's a lot of Karen shows I put up where that's the thing. What's interesting here is the response. Gina Deem says, what does it mean when hearing someone use the word trigger is a trigger in itself? It's an oxymoron. Sentient Lemon Clock says, well, I don't know what you're talking about, but that definitely isn't an oxymoron. Here's the kicker. This is why I love you guys. This is the fan base that I believe I have cultivated. Listen to this. How could you know what's coming next on YouTube? Somebody just corrected somebody about what a word is and what a word isn't. I don't know what you're talking about. The next thing you're supposed to hear is, well, you're this and you're that and you don't. No, you know what I heard? Watch Gina Dean. I'm always open to being corrected. Not being sassy. But please let me know so I don't make the same mistake again. Woo! It's never been done before in YouTube. This is my fan base. This is why I don't have a problem calling out my problems. And this is the if you can't do that, get out of here. This channel's not for you if you can't do that. Wow, Gina Dean. Everybody, find that name on my channel and give her the props she deserves. Give her the props she deserves. That's the type of stuff I like to see. Wow. Absolutely wow. Gina Dean. Listen, guys, I'm not going to say it's not hard. What it is it's something that you cultivate, something that you practice. Actively look out for things that you have seen or done wrong, so in the case, you can correct it. It should be as a badge of honor. Here we go. Man, everything seems to be about this girl in a Maserati, so I'm just going to go with. Old Barn Shop says, is the monkey on the lease? She could be a squatter. Everybody, let's give a moment of silence before I go in. Let's give a moment of silence before I go in. Think about that. Is the monkey on the lease? She could be a squatter. What I find funny is nowhere in the video did either one of them show a house key. What makes you think one is the squatter and the other isn't? You racist prick. You degenerate glob. What? We're not gonna, the monkey thing will get there. She could be a squatter. What makes you, the first thing you think of is how to turn the table, how to make it okay. You know, if I see two people arguing and I say to one of them, well, she maybe did something wrong, and not the other one, there has to be a reason. Huh? What you did was kindly protect your smooth brain, Old Barn Shop. That's what you did. You kindly lathered it up in protectorant and found a way, because you already know you're a racist prick, and you found a way to make it make sense. She could be a squatter. And anybody you see on the street could be a squatter. But what makes that even more hellacious is the person you're talking about is the one in the Maserati. It's a $120,000 car. She could be a squatter. And the one who you called monkey wasn't the one in the fur coat. And when that lady in the fur coat straight up waddled back to her car, I thought you meant her when you said monkey. But then again, I wasn't looking at skin color. You degenerate. You ignorant dummy. You uneducated, filthy, unwashed, illegitimate citizen. Could be a squatter. You sound like a squatter. Next. What do we have here? Oh, lastly, because this is going to take a while, guys. Before I even get to this, are we done? Are we done with the? Are we done with the number one Karen being arrested? No, I'm sorry, not arrested, indicted. Let's not jump the gun. Remember what I said in the beginning. We're not talking politics. I'm talking Karenisms. What are the Karenisms? Constant whining and complaining. That's all I've seen from the world's number one Karen. What's another one? Another one is backtracking. Saying something, being mean, being called out for it, and you immediately backtrack. That's not what I meant. Instead of standing up. That's a Karen move. That's a Karen move. Okay? What else? Unable to let me put it the right way, because I wanted to understand how it relates to all Karens. Unable to admit when you're wrong or accept a loss. Just like old Barn over there, you find an excuse to make it make sense because you're a narcissist. That's a Karen. You find any excuse and any lie you can tell yourself rather than just taking account of what it is, taking it in, learning from it, and becoming a better person. Instead, you lie. Now, politics aside, there's things that are good, things that are bad. But that's some Karen stuff. He's been arrested. Now he's been indicted. Now, here it is. Everybody watch this. Bobby Blair. Bobby Blair says, imagine being concerned with Karens when there's the 1350 problem. Does anybody know what that means? And this, I'm going to end it here. It's almost 9, and my son needs me. The 1350 problem relates to a white supremacist idea that 13% of the population, right, black people, commit 50% of the murders or crime. Very true. I'm not sure if it's 13. I'm not sure if it's 50% anymore. Sometimes it was 52%. Sometimes it's less. And you say, well, that's just a fact. Number one, it's not a fact. But even if it was, allow me to help anybody else who doesn't know how to square these two things in your brain. Okay? Number one, if anybody ever says to you, did you know that 40% of all white people do this? Immediately. The question isn't, what do we need to do to get them to stop? The first question you have to always ask when you hear a stat like that is, why? Because if you don't ask that question, it means that it's okay for you. You actually think that it's assumed that that's the natural state of black people. If you didn't say, man, that's strange, I wonder why, you just state that as a fact. It lets me know where you stand. Because if you just ask that question when you see a white supremacist stat like this, it would easily be answered for you. Because here's the real answer. Why? Why is it that black folks make up 50% of the crimes or the murders? Murder. Well, poverty is the number one predictor of crime, to include murder. The real question is, why is the black population have 50% more poverty than everybody else? That's the question. You see, you thought that it was innate to the animal black people. Somehow they're just murderers. They're more violent. And you forgot about the Nazis. Somehow they're just more violent. Obviously, they're born with it. And you forgot about the KKK and slavery and the Romans and the Spartans and the medieval times and the Vikings. Somehow, when you saw that stat, it never occurred to you, Bobby Blair, to ask why. What you thought immediately was, well, of course, they're animals. If you just, it would be so clear to you. The real question is, why? Why? Well, because 50%, they're 50% more impoverished because of redlining. Because for 50 years, I'm talking about after sharecropping, they weren't allowed to buy homes and gain equity and pass wealth on to their children and have great schools and great books. For hundreds of years, they weren't even allowed to go to school. They had to make their own schools. Historically, black colleges aren't a racist idea. They're an idea created out of a need because you weren't allowed to learn. Why are they 50% more impoverished? Well, you don't allow them to own property, you don't allow them to pass on wealth, and when they had their own banks, you bombed them, destroyed them. Tulsa, Oklahoma, as well as Rosewood. When they developed their own banking systems, and they decided that they were going to have a community about wealth and prosperity, it was too much for the people of those times, for the white people of those times, and they got rid of it all. So once again, there are hundreds of thousands of people who could not pass wealth on to their generations. That's why they're impoverished, and that's why there's a 1350 problem. That's why we laugh at Karens, Bobby Blair, because the reality is the truth that we want to talk about, Bobby Blair, isn't funny. The 1350 problem is a you problem, Bobby Blair, not a black problem. It's an American problem, not a black problem. It's a historically marginalized group of people problem, not a black problem. So we laugh at Karens and we call out people's blind spots, even if they're degenerates. Even if they're maggot-filled pus balls like Bobby Blair. With that, all anti-Karens unite. The anti-Karen soldiers, the lieutenants, I see some lieutenants here. I see some soldiers here. Judging by the Judging by the stamps that we give out, great members here. I saw a general here. Listen, all of you should be happy today. Don't let Bobby Blair get you down. Martin Luther King said, and I don't think it was his quote, but I believe that, I remember him being the one that either repeated it or said it. The arc of justice is long, but it always bends to, no, I'm sorry. The arc of society is long, but it always bends towards justice. And today, the number one Karen in the world has been indicted. We shall see where that leads. But if that don't put a smile on your face. There will be other Karens out there. And if you're worried about the politics, if you're worried that because he's gone, that no one's going to take up the mantle of, all of it, all that he stands for, that you love. Don't worry. There's another one around the corner. All we can talk about is his Karenisms. And if you're an anti-Karen soldier, but you have different politics from me, I don't care. It's important to have different politics from me. It's important to think differently than I do, because that's the only way we can learn. But if we can't call the truth, and we can't call a Karen, that's when we have a problem. Love you guys. See you later. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much, KMB, for your super chat. I do have super chat open, so you guys can do that if you like to support, if you like what I do. This one, we had some funny moments, but it was serious, though. We had some serious moments in there. And I also have merch and all that good stuff. Patreon, become a member of the channel, because if you do, we're going to do what we call the family meeting, probably next week, only for members, where we go about the future of the channel and we have fun and we talk about videos. On Patreon, we do this, the Blind Spots and Shots, where I pull up comments and I always start with where I was wrong, and then we go in on everybody else. So, any one of those ways that you'd like to support, I would appreciate it. Thank you, Linda Sims. Thank you, Sally McKee. Thank you, Karima Smith. Thank you. I don't want to miss out. I know there's a few others. What did I miss? KMB. Thank you, Mystic Gaming. Thank you, It's Just Kenny. Thank you, man. Thank you. Marcy Collins, of course. How could I forget? Thank you, Rudy Polite or Polite. Thank you, Christy Stevens. And for sharing that Trump indictment joy. I said his name, fine. I was just reading it. Christy Stevens, yes, thank you. And Gloria Klepper, thank you. I believe that's everybody. If I missed your name, it's not because I meant to. I love you all. Thanks.